Welcome, everybody. We have the privilege of being joined by the Seljuk Sultan, Saddam, Dr. Saddam, uh, the newest Sultan of the Seljuks, who's made quite an uproar. He is joining us today. Saddam, how you doing? And first, let's give him a proper introduction. Very good. Saddam, how are you doing today,
I'm doing
man?
all good. Thank you, Mithandir.
Um,
I'm doing all good, man.
how was
It's midnight currently. Struggling a bit to stay awake properly.
well, typical sleep schedule for a Lionhearts leader, right? Got to be up all times a
Obviously.
day. And we did have you. We apologize,
Yeah.
everybody. We had some technical difficulties. Saddam is dealing with internet delays. He did have his camera on earlier. Hopefully that gets improved. It also seems like there's a little bit of a mic delay, Saddam. So after I ask a question, I'm just going to leave a long pause for you to answer, and then when you're done, just leave a long pause so we don't interrupt each other because I think there's a bit of a delay. So first of all, how are you doing today?
All right. Thankfully, I'm doing all good. Just been, it's the Ramadan break now, holiday breaks. I'm just taking my time in Lionhearts, committed to recruitment and to enjoying my time with my Lions, obviously.
We all know that you are a big fan of calling your Seljuk soldiers your lions. Can you tell us a little bit about how that came to be? Where did this kind of pet name come from?
Okay, so Lions is it represents an ideal. It represents more than just a name. It's basically the mindset of people being free. They follow their own observations. So I make my people research everything on themselves. Like I don't go and do propaganda and spread misinformation. Lion means you follow everything on your own accord. You follow everything as you see it. That's why I call my people lions because they're brave, they're strong, and they're independent.
How did you become leader of the Seljuks? It's obviously been memed and joked that Seljuks have a coup rebellion every 2 weeks. When did you become leader and how did that come to pass?
So first of all, the leadership before me, it's been unstable for a long time. The Seljuk Sultanate has been in internal conflicts for about a year now, if not more. It's constantly internal problems between Wolf Sam and the Kaikobads and Osman's army. And by the time I joined Seljuks and survived it, my division rallied 40. I realized that the Sultanate was being misled. We got into wars which we outnumbered our enemies by a huge, huge number, and we still lost. So I realized I had to take action before the nation completely collapses. Together with my lions, all of my people, we did the revolution and we toppled the weak regime.
Wow, quite an incredible, powerful. It's been no secret you've had a lot of success. I think you're a rising star in Lionhearts as far as leaders go. I don't know one that has more hype and promise in the early phases of his career than you right now. Not to gas you up too much. Recently, however, there's been a controversy. You vassalized Cyprus. Have been vassalized quite a few times last year, but instead of opting for an annexation, you went for a puppet and you opted to replace the leader, Lettuce, and much to the dismay of many people in the community, including some of your allies. Can you talk us a little bit through the decision making process of first warring with the Cypriots and having a rivalry with them, and then deciding to puppet them?
Oh, sure thing. So the Cypriot and Seljuk rivalry, it started since the days of Umran. Umran is basically the guy that was like the founding father of our current ideology. And when he did his coup to end the corrupt regime that was before him, which is basically similar to my story, the Cypriots, they started bullying the Seljuks. They allied with the corrupt rebellion. Basically, there was a rebellion that wanted to stop Umran from taking over. Ever since then, the Cypriots kept on interfering in internal Seljuk issues and it kept on bullying Seljuks. until one of their allies took power, which is also puppeting, by the way. They, in fact, started a rebellion of only 5 people, which took over the nation and started, running it in its own way. And that's how I joined, obviously. And then after this happened, we became allies for a short while. But, obviously, we eventually removed this government that was appointed by Cyprus, which made the Cypriots free cut. And ever since then, they've supported that government. They've kept sending clans to bully us. They've kept, trying to go over the Seljuk sovereignty. So I respond with the sword to the sword. We declared war. We crushed them in the first war, obviously. I gave Letus a chance. We retreated. We didn't take any garrisons. We didn't do anything. We took some gold, and that was it. I thought that was it. Because after that, obviously, the Cypriots hosted one of the people that wanted to rebel on me. He was, being in Cyprus, let us knew about it. He didn't take any action against it. He was gathering people in Cyprus. He was, causing a racket. And eventually, I had to take action again. And this time, Letus was directly challenging me like he did to my predecessor, Umran. So I knew it was either me or Letus this time. Plus, he was a federation member, which meant the entire federation was on our order. So if there was any issue, he could just bring the whole federation and destroy us. We declared war on him. Within 35 minutes, we took Nicosia. We took 6 garrisons and Nicosia, and we held it out. And obviously, one of the high ranks in Cyprus was Psychic's men. One of Psychic's men. You know Psychic, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. He was one of Psychic's men, and we put that guy to power. Currently, Psychic is technically running the state.
So, Psychic was your puppet leader choice, is what you're saying?
No, I didn't really puppet him. It was just I needed to use the mechanic to remove Lettuce and put Psychic back, because Psychic, he was a strong leader. He is independent. He will not let his faction be controlled by foreigners, which is going to harm me and harm Cyprus. Cyprus died for a while, and yeah, that was basically the best choice I got.
Letus has since joined the Teutons, it appears. Are you worried about a Federation invasion to try to reclaim his title of emperor?
Yes, certainly. They are planning some counterattack that I know of until, intelligence across their nations, and they're gonna try to attack me. But I'm already more than prepared. I know all the timings, all the schedules, all the plans. They think they can hide it from me, but nothing hides from my eyes.
And you've been worried. I mean, having the Cypriots so close to your territory and then being a Federation member was part of your incentive to try to wipe them out of the equation. Yet, my understanding is the Cypriots are all the way on the coast in central, and you're all the way interior in northern. Are they really that much of a threat?
Yes, obviously. Since I've already mentioned it, they kept interfering in internal Seljuk affairs. They share a border with us. 2 garrisons are bordering Cypriots. And they can just show up in northern Levant and declare war whenever they want and get their allies with them, the whole federation. And I am obviously a federation enemy. I cannot let such a threat stay on my border.
Are Seljuks officially a member of the SCA?
Technically, yes, we are a member of the SCA. We are anti-feds.
What's your goal as a member of the SCA? Do you wish to destroy the Federation completely?
Yes, and I'm already succeeding in that. The Seljuk leader before me, he was a federation puppet. We removed him from power thanks to, all of the Seljuk veterans. Like, I cannot name them. They're way too much for me to even be able to name them. And then after that, you got the current conflicts with them. That's how it kept carrying on.
Now that you've sort of achieved your goal with Cyprus, what's next for Seljuks?
We keep fighting the Federation until we knock all of them out. There is no in between. Maybe other leaders are lenient with terms. We just want peace. We want garrisons. I don't have something called we want garrisons. We want peace. Seljuks don't have something like that in their dictionary. We either completely decisively crush, or we get defeated, and we're not gonna get defeated.
Are you worried? I mean, there's been a bit of a power vacuum in the Seljuks, given how unstable it's been. Are you worried about a coup? Are you worried about a rebellion, just given the recent history?
Well, that's actually not true. There is no power vacuum in Seljuks. We reached legacy status. We ended the civil war. The Kaikubads, who were the guys causing all of the civil wars and internal troubles for a year, we did a treaty with them. They laid down their claims on the throne. So basically, right now, I'm just ruling with my people. There is no threat internally. I'm able to focus on the conquests.
So achieving legacy status, that's quite a big deal. How did you go about doing that?
First of all, conquest, obviously. The Cypriots, when they started, harassing Seljuk territories, trying to reduce stability, we just declared war, took all of Cyprus, held it for 3 weeks, which gave me a lot of stability. And then Abbasids tried to attack us, and we crushed Abbasids too. We took Baghdad. They did a 2v1 on us. So that also added to our stability. And then Seljuks donated 500,000 gold. So we kept pumping that in terms. And obviously, throughout 8 weeks, we managed to reach legacy.
Quite impressive. I don't know if I don't know if I recall a leader coming in and doing something quite that astounding in such a short period of time. What's the secret to your success?
My people and the lions that support me and that are loyal to their nation and to their cause.
How have you managed to recruit? We talked about this briefly privately. I'm curious, post paid access, there's been a lot of complaining and about just recruitment being impossible. How have you been able to grow the Seljuk Sultanate to such a high level during this paid access period?
So complaining is not going to solve any of their problems. They can complain from now until 1 year. They're not going to gain anything. It's not going to get recruits into them. And you have made it clear that your decision is going to be in place, which is the game is going to be paid. So we organized a server in the Seljuk Sultanate right now, which has over 100 people. We have also fund managers, rich Seljuk lions that donate their money, actual money and Robux to the nation. We gather that, we spread it across the new recruits we get, and the recruits we get are two types. We either go recruit from other genres, or we get people from Lionhearts that have been abandoned by their factions. Their factions are too busy complaining. We can go actually and help them.
So you've put a system in place in which your own Seljuk members can help donate and buy access for
Yes, obviously. And it's all thanks to the fact that they're loyal to their nation and they're ready to spend their money over this.
what do you get out of these
Especially Murphy as well.
what do you see with these new recruits? Um are they pretty interested in the game from the beginning, or does it take some time to onboard them, train them, and how often do they leave? Do they usually do most of them stay and become active members? How many of them stop playing?
It depends on the player itself. If the player doesn't care about him receiving help and does not appreciate it, he's not going to play. But most of the people actually appreciate the fact that we give them Robux and allow them to play the game again. So they just stick on and they could keep playing, which is how we rallied over 50 people like 1 month ago.
Wow, that's incredible. 50 for one faction, almost unheard of. Recent rendition of Lionhearts. I've often thought that a leader could do something similar to what you're doing, but to actually see it be executed is quite a different story. I usually do get a lot more complaints about how difficult it is, and it is difficult, but I tend to agree with you that the complaining isn't going to help. I think what you've done is very resourceful. Do you worry that your strategy of brazen warfare, violence, could be taken the wrong way and end up with burnout?
Of course not. Seljuks do not burn out. We have already tested it over 4 months, 4 months of constant warfare, and I didn't have a single complaint of over 50 people playing the game as Seljuks. Not a single one of them said I'm burnt out. They play the game loyally.
Just as an aside here, it seems like the internet's a little better. Are you willing to try the cam, or do you think it'd be better just to go no cam internet?
I'll give it a bit more time and I'll turn on my camera.
Okay, that sounds good. Because I haven't been hearing any delay or anything, so it's like it's a lot. Seljuks don't get burned out, he says. That's why not? What is different about the Seljuks that your soldiers don't get burned out?
Fight for a cause. They actually care. Like they do something because they believe in it, not because they play the game and just play and have fun. No, no, we don't have that. When we play for an obvious and clear reason. First of all, it started with the revolution. We did the biggest revolution in the game's history. 40 people joined the rebellion. Obviously, we just walked into Palmyra and we finished that. And then, since then, I've been constantly targeted by the feds and the other enemies of the Seljuks. And the people, they just took it as a mindset that, we have to save our nation. It's been in a whole year of constant instability. It's been in a whole year of constant troubles. And, they're loyal to their leader. They care about the leader. It's basically a common trust between the leader and the people. We trust each other. We love each other. We fight for each other. Or else my people would not have gifted me the legacy status.
Outside of the Federation, share a border with the Assassins, of course, a part of the Triumvirate of Levant. Are there any territory disputes, border disputes, or tensions in northern Levant? It's been quite peaceful for some time.
It was not peaceful actually. A lot of the wars happened with Cyprus, it was in northern Levant. It was basically, fighting over a garrison as well, which was called Hawash. And eventually, after putting Psychic to power, he gave it to us as a gift. And apart from that, the rest of the northern Levant is just united in a single cause. They want to fight the feds and, they want to fend the feds off. Obviously, Seljuks, they don't just play the game because they don't like feds. There isn't something called I'm playing the game because I don't like feds. We play the game because we like our nation and we like the game and we enjoy our time.
What sort of activities do Seljuks do?
Of course, so it starts basically with matchmaking. It helps the stability a lot. We do a lot of matchmaking, an hour, 2 hours sometimes per day. We do some trainings, combat practice. Obviously, since I spent a lot of my reign in Mars, we would go to a lot of RBs as well. We gained a lot of experience, and it's been obvious these days because I've noticed these are not the same people that I was fighting with like 4 months ago. 4 months ago, there was some inexperience. Some people were just bronze users. Some people were not skilled enough. Nowadays, it's a very disciplined and deadly army. So that's also a good gain. The wars helped us a lot. Apart from that, you also have the fact that, the Seljuks in general, they love each other, the community. So they hang around in the game together. They grind in the arena, in the Jerusalem arena. That's also helping in the contribution.
What's your biggest challenge as Seljuk leader?
I don't have any challenges, not gonna lie. I'm being honest, there is no big challenge to me right now.
What
I've
about
weathered most of them thanks to my people.
what about game mechanics, bugs, things just to do with the game in general? Are there any changes you want made?
I mean, us as a Seljuk, no, because we adapt to anything that comes to the game. Remember when you added the 24/7 RBs? We were
Yes.
the first and the most faction to adapt to that. We would have 10 Seljuks at any given time, at any given moment, in any like combat or battle. So we adapt to anything you guys add.
Well, certainly I think the 24/7 RBs favor faction that actually has activity. I mean, I've always thought of I never wanted time gate road battles, region battles. I always thought doing time gates was a mistake. And I do think that in the future, if everybody was like Seljuks that could rally 50, 24/7 RBs wouldn't be a big deal because you would always have men on to fight. That doesn't mean I'm going to reinstitute an interesting point that
Yes,
reminded me of
obviously,
that.
that's the thing. Isn't it?
Um, so your Lions. What exactly? What sort of training regimen? What sort of? I mean, you mentioned arena, but are there any special tactics, strategy that you use, or is it just pure force of number?
It's not pure force of number. We do have the skilled generals, and since the people actually are disciplined,
Oh, I think we might have lost you. Oh, cutting out a bit. Are you there? Hold on, guys. It looks like we're going through some technical difficulties. It appears that Dr. Saddam's internet has cut out a little bit, so we'll just wait a second. Yeah, the Fed spies have gotten to him. Heads up, guys. We will be doing while we wait. It looks like, yep, he's all for now. Oh, there he is. Heads up, guys. For every 10 likes that the interview gets on YouTube, we will be doing a giveaway. Right now, we are at 23. If we get that up to 50, we will be doing 5 giveaways at the end of the interview. You get tickets by following and subscribing and chatting, which you get, or credential coin, which you can then redeem tickets at the giveaway. So make sure to like the video so we can do giveaways. Saddam, are you there?
yes, I am here. Can you hear my voice?
Yes, you're back. We were interrupted by your internet, it seems.
Sorry for the disturbance.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, it is. It's a bit better than before, but it is kind of cutting still.
So, where were we? What were you saying?
We were talking about the shit, my demented brain. I
Your
can't remember what I was
strategies.
talking about last time. One second.
We're
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about
yeah, the
your
strategies.
strategies.
So about the strategies and the that the Seljuks use, yeah, yeah, yeah. The most effective strategy we have, which is basically Seljuk shock charges, we easily like weather through the enemies using those tactics. You know, it's tested in the Cypriot war as well. We just let the enemies do whatever they want, rally up as much as you want. Whatever they do, the Seljuks are trained in a way that as soon as we do a group attack, within like 30 seconds, 1 minute, the enemies are completely dead. None of them are alive.
Obviously, strategy can only get you so far if you're a faction that only rallies 10. When you rally 50, you almost don't even need strategy. I mean, I know you do have it, but that many men is insane. It's an insane advantage if you can bring 50 to a battle.
Obviously, yeah, it is a good advantage. We do have like always up to 5 to 10 people more than Cypriots, but they did put up a good fight, regardless of how much we have more than them. Yet it doesn't work because even when they got the Federation, which also had equal numbers to us, if not more, we still managed to hold out with some of our allies.
I'm going to ask you a couple more things about Lionhearts in general. What's your favorite part of Lionhearts?
My favorite part of Lionhearts is, of course, wars and conquest and, combat. Is the best part about the game. It is what it's what the game is built on, obviously.
And when did you start playing Lionhearts?
I started playing in December 2022, but technically, in the first days as an LR, you don't play that much. So technically, I started playing in March of last year, like 1 year ago.
Do you think that the game would benefit from other things to do besides war? Like fishing, farming, hunting, house customization?
Yes, of course.
Would you enjoy updates like that?
I actually wanted to touch on that part.
Please
We
do.
would enjoy it, of course, especially as Seljuks, we do have community events together. We hang around in the game a lot together. So if you had, for example, fishing events, you can have, farm agriculture. Agriculture would also give an advantage. It will also add like a
Yeah.
whole another aspect to the game. Some nations will have a good agricultural land. They will be strong. Others will not have agricultural land. So therefore, for example, you can add the fact that soldier is not well fed. He will have weaker stats. This way, factions that have less food will have weaker soldiers. It's
Yeah.
basically going to add a very new aspect to the game.
I totally agree with you. What's your position on the relationship as a leader? What's your position on the relationship Credenzio Studios has with the Lionhearts community? How do you think Credenzio Studios does communicating, fixing bugs, and just development in general?
Well, development for a long time in Presenzio, for some reason, has been like a bit out of touch with the actual people, which was also obvious in the 24 7RB. But recently, you've got some good devs that are actually active. Some of them are faction leaders. So they got experience. They're in touch with the game. They know the community. They know the people, which also is helping the studio a lot. It's also helping the game quality, like, get better. It's much better than before.
Hmm. And do you plan to stick around Lionhearts long term, or is this just something you want to do for now, and when you get tired of it, you'll move on?
I mean, Lionhearts is probably gonna be the last game I'm gonna play, since after this I'm just gonna focus on life and quit playing games. But I'm gonna stick around for at least like almost a year, maybe a bit less.
Ah. And what sort of legacy do you want to leave when you're gone?
I wanna leave the legacy that I've told you about before. The legacy. I want the people to keep, like, to stay in this way. You observe it yourself, think about it, research it, choose your side properly, make sure who you're following. Don't follow people blindly, obviously. That's gonna harm you, and it's gonna harm the community as well overall, not just yourself. I want the people to be able to differentiate between what's wrong and what's right. Whether it's a leader that's leading them to the wrong or the right, or whether it's themselves. I want to make sure that they're always the best. And I want to make sure that my faction remains strong.
Do you find the time zone challenging? We know that you're not in the United States time zone. Do you find the time zone differences challenging in a game that is so player dependent?
Time zones, obviously, yeah, it is gonna cause some issues. Maybe not for an active nation like Seljuks, but if you have an average nation, it's gonna cause a lot of problems, because if you have a nation of European high ranks only, you're gonna have European recruits as well. So you're not gonna have, for example, American recruits, which is gonna end up with other American factions taking over you when you are not in their time zone.
And how do you combat that? Do you specifically target recruits that are in different time zones?
Yeah, yeah, you have to basically carefully split your high rank core. You need to have some Americans, some Europeans, some Asians, and these high ranks have to focus on recruiting and training their people. So you're gonna have some recruited and trained Asians. You're gonna have some Americans. You're gonna have some Europeans. A blend of all of those. Eventually, you can also like try and get them all together in the same place on Saturdays. That's a good way of doing it.
And what do you think the potential is for Selgics and Lionhearts going forward? Do you feel like this game has potential to be much more popular and successful than it is already?
If you keep up with these streams and if the people actually keep interest in the game, yes, obviously it's going to keep on passive growth until it's going to reach a point where you're going to have a lot of factions rallying 30, 40, 50 perhaps.
And so you've liked the streams. You think the content and the streams we've been doing have been helpful.
It's helpful, it's also fun. You are doing streams of other games as well, which is going to attract other players from other communities. They're going to see that you also have Lionhearts. They're going to try out your games basically.
Yeah. Is
So it's a good thing that you're doing.
there anything else you want to touch on or speak to?
It's basically the fact that the Seljuks have some problems with underdevelopment, like in terms of dev focus. Palmyra is kind of not the best base to say the least. It has some problems. It's just like a giant sandcastle right now. And we have our divisions are not reformed. They have just recolored the logos, recolored uniforms. Our uniforms, the main faction uniform is good. It's not bad. But the division issue, the division one is that it has to be touched on. And apart from that, our garrisons are good, which is I'm appreciative of that. We have a lot of fortresses as a Seljuks, one of the most dense areas, in fortresses.
Um, don't have any concerns. You seem very confident. And
Obviously, I don't have concerns. If you have people like I do, and if you have trust and confidence like I do, you're gonna have fear nothing. Even if they're the mightiest thing in the genre, even if they're the feds or whatever they are, nothing, nobody can do anything to us.
well, I don't have any more questions. We went through everything I had prepared pretty quickly. What would you like to say to your
I,
Lions, your Seljuks?
I would like to say to my lions, always stay independent. Make sure who you choose carefully, and always focus on your cause of making your nation the strongest. We have to revive it after it's been in conflict and internal issues for over a year now. We've made it reach its peak since its foundation, and we're gonna keep going. There is nothing that's gonna stop us. There is no limit. There is nothing to say, "Oh yeah, we reached this. Let's stop." And there is nothing like that. Focus on yourself. Make sure you are strong, and you make your faction strong in that way. And keep loyal to your cause.
Before we end, do we get the Saddam face reveal? Do the people get to see who they're talking?
Yes, yes, obviously. I hope it doesn't crash, but let me do it.
There
Here
it
you are.
is.
I am
There's your cell.
not
There's
in the
your.
best trip right now. It's obviously midnight,
There's the Lion
but I've
King.
done it
Everybody,
again.
that's his new name, the Lion King. There he is.
Thank you.
Very much. Thank you very much for coming. We definitely appreciate it. That was fantastic. And I hope we'll be talking more soon about potential development updates. Any insights you have, please reach out to me if you have any insights.
Thank you. Thank you for your time as well. And thank you for your time to the audience as well that took their time and watched this. Make sure to subscribe to this guy and help him. He
Oh,
deserves
thank
it.
you. Thank you very much for that promotion. Guys, we're 4 likes away from 40. We can do giveaways. Stay tuned for the giveaways. We are going to be back very soon with more. So don't go anywhere. Saddam, once again, thank you very much. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe below. If not, leave a dislike and tell us why this content could be improved in the comments below. We'll see you guys in the next one.